Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over the first debut album by Olivia Rodrigo called Sour. So, like everybody has known, and this has been one of the most talked about song in 2001, pretty much. Or 2021. So, which is called Driver's License, and that was the first song that she did kind of as her own self, aside from Disney stuff. So, and it had a huge reaction. Everybody loved it. I even loved it. I love the vulnerability of it. I love the rawness of just how angry and how upset she is and how much she just is just really, really hurt through it. And I just love it. It's been a while since we had songs in that direction from people of her age too. She's 18, and it's nice to have that kind of feel, that weird space where everything, it just feels like a lot, and at the same time there's so much more life that's coming, that it hasn't even been discovered yet, hasn't really been felt like. So it's really nice to have, it's kind of light refreshing to have a younger artist talk about heartbreaks. It's like, oh yeah, I remember feeling that way. I remember just thinking nothing's going to compare to what's going on, and then I'm going to experience, this is the worst experience I've ever had, and then there's so much more stuff that's going to happen later on. But let's move away from that. If you don't know who Olivia Rodrigo is, she is a star. She stars in the Disney Plus series called High School Musical, the series. And she stars as one of the main characters in it, and I haven't seen it yet, and I'm a huge High School Musical fan. I'm just so scared that it's gonna kind of not match up to the actual movies. But I've heard everybody likes it. Like, she came out of it, so it must be good. So, but anyway, back to this. We're talking about the album Sour. So, this album touches on the post feeling of a relationship that ended, mixed with some social stuff, and then a couple of reflecting pieces of looking back at it, and one of them one song that talks about it during the relationship. So let's go through the album, talk about my favorites, and I'll kind of break down some of my favorite lyrics, and on top of some of the ones I really want to shout out that I didn't really star next to, which is really not that much, but I'll do my best to go through it. So starting off with one of my favorite songs off of this is Brutal, and it starts off with Brutal because I feel like it's a great direction of saying, like, just because, like, she's tired of all this kind of people kind of saying, like, oh, there's so much greatness about being young and being youthful is such a great thing, and enjoy it, take it all in, because then one day it's going to go away, kind of thing, which is definitely understand that. But I think it's one thing that she's pointing out is that it's not fucking happy cakes and rainbows in this situation that she's in now. Her youth isn't so fun as they try to make it seem like. As she says, I'm sick of 17, where's my fucking teenage dream? If somebody tells me one more time, enjoy my life, or enjoy your youth, I'm gonna cry. Pretty much saying just like this stuff, like, this is not as, this youth that everybody comes to chase after isn't all that it seems to be. And she doesn't really see the whole piece of people saying, like, enjoy it, just like I don't see it. Going into another one, which is, I like, Driver's License. We all know this one. Pretty much talks about how she is just so in love with this person. She got a driver's license, like they both promised that she would get, so now she has it, but she doesn't have him. So it's kind of awkward and very sad, because it's just like, what the fuck, you know? I love the bridge. I think the bridge just swoops you right into that emotion, and I feel like it slowly kind of climbs. The production, like, slowly climbs, and her vocals too. She's very, like, she's soft-spoken, gets a little more passionate, and then here comes the bridge, and it just swoops you right in, and I love that climb. That's so nice. 1 step forward and 3 steps back. This one interpolates the New Year's Day by Taylor Swift. You can hear it in the very, very beginning with the piano. So, yeah, and I do like this one too. This one happens during the relationship, and this one talks about how she kind of navigates between the relationship with an inconsistent partner, and pretty much has this thing where she just feels like just anything that she does could trigger him or send him off to a different direction. So she's trying her best to just kind of manage the roller coasters of emotions that's going through the whole thing. And so but it is taking a complete toll on her. As she says, all I did was speak normally, and somehow I still struck a nerve. Pretty much saying just like, even when she isn't trying to hurt him or looking to hurt him, it still happens without her looking to do so. And I think that's kind of taking a toll. And then another part she says is one step forward, or 3 steps back. I leave you, but the roller coaster is all I ever had. So it seems like this is a relationship, one of the first relationships or initial relationship that she's been in, and it does. So when you're in it, you definitely feel like you're like, this is all I have. There's nothing else that's better than this, or I don't really know what else the unknown is scarier than the comfortability, even if you're in a toxic space, to go to. I think that's what she's talking about in this. Good For You is another one I like. I like this one too because it kind of has that kind of rock, kind of punk rock, just like Brutal. I feel like Brutal is way more punk rock, but this one kind of leans into that. And I love the idea that she doesn't shy away from her anger. Like there's no like, it's definitely goes through all the emotions that she's feeling, and I love that. This one pretty much talks about how fast the relationship the ex just moved on, to the next person, and pretty much just has this whole she's upset. She's like, oh, good for you. You moved on. You found this person that you think is so great, and all this stuff is happening, and it's just so great, but she hates it. She's being sarcastic in a way. And one of the things that she says is kind of funny. Good for you, I guess, that you found that you worked, you've been working on yourself. I guess that therapist I found for you, she really helped you, and now you'll be a better man for the brand new girl. Pretty much just like, there's a heavy petty direction in this album, but it's reasonable petty in a weird way. It's just like, oh, great. So now when you go look for a therapist and you found a therapist and now it's working for you in the aftermath of a relationship, and now all that good stuff that you learned, all that lessons that you taught, you're now applying to this new girl, so she thinks you're fucking amazing, when I kind of know the truth of of all this challenges and everything that we went through and how to get to that place, how you got to that place. A nod to, I feel like Good For You is a great swing, and a great swing to come after Deja Vu, because that one talks about the idea is just like, oh, I'm seeing things that you're doing in this relationship that we did together. So, and I'm seeing how she's reacting to it, just like, oh my god, this is so great. He sings Billy Joel to me, and she's like, when are you gonna tell her that I'm the one that got you into Billy Joel? I was the one that sang that to you before you sang it to me. And when you're gonna tell them that, or we're gonna tell her that all these things that you think that she thinks is so special to your relationship is actually something that's repeating from our relationship, kind of thing. Very, very very interesting in that direction, and it definitely makes a lot of sense, and I love it. We go past Enough For You, which I did like. I didn't really start because I felt like some pieces weren't really connecting for me, but I did like the idea of the story. Pretty much talking about how she worked so hard to put extra effort in a relationship just for it to completely fall apart. And she's not looking for sympathy entirely. She just wants herself back that she was before the relationship went through. Happier is another one I really liked. I feel like that one kind of talks about, it's very, very selfish and very, very, like, in a weird kind of like, I'm happy for you, but if you're happier without me, then I'm not happy. Then that just sucks. You know, she wants them to just be happy and wish them the best, but that happiness needs to be happy, but not happier without her, kind of thing. Like, he still wants him to have her in her mind, to the most awkward point that she says, think of me fondly when your hands are on her. It's like, I don't think that the girl that he's with would really be really be happy to know that he's thinking of his ex when they're being intimate. It's kind of awkward, but that's what she wants. Jealousy is the one I really like. It's more of a social direction. This one talks about the idea of the standards and unrealistic standards that we are applied to us on internet thanks to social media and all these people that have all these fake filtered bodies and they're going on all these trips and doing all these things and loving their life, and it's just I like to say it's a complete facade. And I think that it's one thing that's just like she knows that their wins isn't her loss, and I think she still feels that way, but she still has a lot of shit that just happens and on. It just happens on and on. And makes you question yourself, even if you know that you don't really know the full-on story. One part that I do like what she says: comparisons is killing me so slowly. I think too much about kids who don't even know me. You don't even know their situation. They don't know your situation, so you don't even know if they're just suffering through shit, or they spent all their money just to go to this, I don't know, to Mexico or whatever, and now they're completely broke when they come home, or they have to work extra hard now just to make up for that trip, just to flex to people like, oh, look what a life I'm living, kind of thing. Favorite crime is another one, a very reflective or type of song, and it feels like it's pretty much talking about the idea that sorry, let me kind of, my writing is all over the place. She's taking some fault into it, but not fault as in like, oh, I did something bad to you. More the fact that she allowed this to go on for so long. She allowed all of this to happen to her, the way to allow him to treat her like this way, and she didn't really stand up for it. And I think she takes responsibility in that way. She's like, yes, I think it definitely made it more confusing when she says everything we broke and all the trouble that we made, but I say I hate you with a smile on my face. Pretty much just very weird kind of things to make it seem like, oh, it's not serious that she hates him. It's more just like, oh, I hate you kind of thing. But she does look back and she's like, that's not how I should have handled it. I should have never handled it that way. I should have been much more stern and much more direct to how I felt about it. This is a little more acoustic, so I love that. And I love the harmonies in that song too. I think it's really nice. And then finally, Hope You're Okay is literally one of my top favorite songs off the album. This one talks about different friends that she doesn't have connections with anymore, but she still hopes they're okay because she knows they had a bit of a traumatic past when she was around them as kids. So the first verse talks about a queer guy pretty much having to live with a very religious family, and she has lost touch with him, but she really hopes that everything is okay with him. And one thing I really like that she says, somehow we fell out of touch. Hope he took his bad deal and made a royal flush. I think it's so nice, making something good out of a bad situation. I think it's so nice to hear her say that. The second verse is about this middle school girlfriend that she was friends with, and she pretty much the friend was taking care of her brothers by herself. The parents didn't do shit, and they also didn't like the fact that she was into another person that they weren't really into, which is, I'm assuming she was into another woman, and that didn't really fly so well for them. And she couldn't wait to get into college because all these things, she realizes that her family, as she says, she's tired. She was tired because she was brought into a world where family was merely blood. There's no passion. There's nothing came out of it that showed that they actually loved her more. They were together because they related to each other, or they were related. And another one I really like is, does she know how proud I am? She was created with the courage to unlearn all of their hate. I think that's a really beautiful line. I think it's so nice. I think it's a nice nod to end this album with a LGBT plus Q plus type of like song in a way, and I think it's so nice for her to do that. I think it's very nice. I give this album I give this album a 9 out of 10. I think there was a couple of songs that I didn't really connect too hard with, or that I didn't really feel wasn't really connecting as much as the other ones, but there's way more songs in this that connected more with me. Leave a comment below to me thought. If you like this album, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you have your favorite songs off of it, let me know. Your favorite lyrics, I would love to know your favorite lyrics too. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, notification button if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.